Good morning. Welcome to the Carla Marie and Anthony Show. My name is Anthony.
I'm Carla Marie.
And it looks like we are in level 5 of the hype train. For some reason, the thing that's supposed to show it on the screen is not working today. So if you're watching on YouTube, just trust us. We're in level 5 of the hype train. And you said, Carla Marie, that you've got to make today's shot? What?
Move your ugly notebook.
No, what if I need to take notes?
Come on. Put it on that side.
There's no room on that side. There's
you
wires.
You made me clear all of my stuff.
You mean your makeup bag? Yeah. Yes.
Oh my God, if this were Elvis' studio and someone had a notebook out and you were filming.
One notebook. And if it was filming for an interview, I would say, do you need it for the interview? But like right now, what's going to happen is what I noticed is I say a lot of things during the show that I never follow through on because I say them and then I forget about them. So now when I say things, I'm going to be writing them down. Like the other day when we talked about all the games you got to play, Carla Marie. Tetris 99, Kirby Dream Land, Heroes of Might and Magic, Fortnite, Fall Guys, Beat Saber. See? Got them all written.
Okay. Sorry, I'm just tweeting that we're live. Or
See?
Xing. Okay, I'm
All
so
written.
glad you found the notebook for that.
Well, because I'm trying to be more organized. We actually talked about this during the countdown of the show this morning.
What?
That lists and writing things down can really help with, anxiety and other things.
But
explain what you said.
So Megan in the chat said something along the lines of, anyone ever have so much to do that you just get so overwhelmed, shut down, and then do none of it?
Yeah.
And I was like, yes. And that's actually when I did my medium session. That was one of the things she brought up about me. But one of the issues that I also have is that I will make that list and do kind of shut down because I see how much it is. Like, I can't, at this point in my life, 35 years of age, I haven't figured out a system that works for me.
Yeah.
And I've listened to podcasts about organization, and no one has a thing that's like, yep, I do the exact same thing and it works for me.
Okay.
None of us are alike when it comes to organization. And I still, I'll have something that works for 2 weeks, then I'm out the window.
I don't know what system would work for you. Okay, so I don't know if it's writing a list, if it's digital, if it's putting things on a wall, if it's, I don't know, storyboarding your life, whatever.
I need
an
an assistant that follows me around and is like, do this right now.
You need money for that first. So let's work on the system first. So I don't know what the physical system is for you. That is different for everybody.
Yeah.
Some people like notebooks that are pre-made with where you should write everything. Some people just like regular notebooks. Some people like it digital. But I do think that one thing that can work for everyone is simply focusing on one thing at a time. And this is an actual, I wouldn't call it an argument, but something that Carla Marie and I go back and forth with a lot is I will sit down to do something. And Carla Marie's not alone in this. I think this is very common. You'll start rattling out a lot of things that have to get done down the road, or even that day, or even next. And I will stop and say, but I'm not doing that now. This is the thing I'm doing. So don't bring your to-do list into my brain. And I think that's something that often a lot of us do is we project our anxiety, right? All the things you have to do, everyone has to know about it all the time because it makes you feel like you're doing them when you're telling them to someone. Does that make sense?
Yes. I mean, yes. But I sent you this video and I shared it on Instagram of this woman that explains what happens to her brain when she goes to do a task. And it was like, oh, I went into the kitchen to do something. And then I realized I was hungry. So I started making something else. And then I was like, oh, but I need the dishes to be clean. And then I started cleaning the dishes and then realized that I had to get something for the kids. So I went into the kids' room and then realized their room was a mess. So I started picking it up. And then I did.
Yes.
And it's this, literally she was talking for nonstop, 90 seconds of this. And it's definitely a form of ADD or ADHD. 100%. I think we all at this point in our lives have some of it in us because how much is happening around us. But that is me. And after seeing that video, I was hypersensitive about it. And over the weekend, I kind of organized the house and cleaned the house. And at one point I was like, why am I on the couch? I was doing something. Yeah. What happened? I think I sat down to look something up, to order something, never ordered it, was sitting on the couch and then scrolling through Instagram. And I'm like, I need someone that just whips me when I do it. Like a little stop it.
Slaps you on the wrist.
Yeah.
But
you're not supposed to do that.
I I saw that Soira wrote in the chat that it's man brain versus woman brain or something like that. And there might be something to that, right? I don't know whether or not that's a real thing. But I also think that all of us have become so accustomed to doing a million things at the same time essentially because of the internet and social media.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying.
Right? So when you're watching TV, you can also be scrolling through Instagram and watching another video. When you're listening to a podcast, you can also be fiddling with something else. We, across the board, I think, have to get better at doing one thing at a time. Yeah, and it's a debate we've had a lot of times. It's like, oh, well, women are such good multitaskers, blah, blah, blah. Men can't multitask. When in reality, that is a fallacy. And it's something that we have let kind of infect our society so that we expect women to do more at the same time while expecting less of men.
But I agree with you on that. But I also do agree that women are capable of, even in the slightest bit, doing two things at once better than men can.
I think it also depends on the task. There are things that I can do.
So are you saying that like when I'm cooking and I have a TV show playing, I shouldn't have that?
No, I think that's a little different.
Or like if a woman's breastfeeding, she also can't be on her phone or watching TV.
No, I think when you're trying to get tasks done, right? Cooking, if you've got to wait for something to cook or boil or whatever, obviously do things in the meantime. But if you are working towards a goal and getting tasks done on your to-do list, I think it makes way more sense to hone in on that thing that's on that list, that first item, and just keep going. Right? And how you tackle that list is totally up to you. Some people like starting with the easy things first so they can feel accomplished. Some people don't because they just want to get the main thing done.
I know.
And that's up to you.
There's a podcast I want to mention. But
there's also like a pretty good amount of actual scientific data that shows that multitasking isn't a real thing. Okay. You're not doing two things at the same time. You're doing two things and alternating between
the scientist that can't do two things at the same time, so I did a study about it.
Maybe. It could be.
Did we hit hype train? I saw something about...
it said we got 73% of the way through level 5, so I think we're good.
To make a
shot? Yeah, why not?
Okay.
Because you can make the shot, I can straighten out the camera. I know it was a little... it's a little off-centered right now. There's more room behind me than you.
It's Me Meech said the other day I read that our attention spans are now an average of 8 seconds.
Yeah.
And a goldfish has a 9-second attention span.
I believe it. But I also do believe it's something that we can train. It's something that if you continually work at, you'll get better. And like almost any skill, right? We all assume like, oh, well, I just don't have a long attention span. Well, you probably haven't tried to make it longer.
But like, how do I do that? Is there an exercise?
I'm sure there is. I'm sure there's some sort of focus, meditation, exercise. But it also just gets back to blocking things out. Do the task and then catch yourself. And when you've wavered, you go back.
Yeah.
I'm going to start
a
podcast about how I can start side hustles, or I don't know. I feel like I'm one of those guys right now.
Okay, so this is a podcast that
I wasn't making fun of your side hustlers podcast,
Thank you.
By the way.
I'm sending right now a link to a podcast I recommend. I haven't listened to it in a while, so I don't know if she's like changed things up. It's called Before Breakfast by Laura Vanderkam, and I had her on Side Hustlers a while back, and she is in herself a side hustler, but my goal of having her on was her whole thing is organization and time management, and I thought no better audience could understand that better than a side hustler, so I had her on, and she has this free downloadable PDF, I believe, on her website that when I did this, I was like, whoa. And you print it out and you either do it in 15 or 30-minute increments and you write down everything you did that day as you do it. And then you go back and you look and you're like,
scrolled through Instagram for 17 minutes.
And that's how you were like, well, how do you catch yourself?
Yeah.
That is kind of how you catch yourself. And maybe not, like you'll go to write down and you'll be like, what did I just do for the last 30 minutes? What am I wasting my time on?
Yeah.
So you'll find it through navigating through her podcast on her website. She's got books, and I love that each episode is like, I don't know, under 20 minutes. And it's like something.
I know a podcast like that.
It's like, here's one thing you need to make your life organized today. And I'm a big fan of it. It's a podcast put out by our former company, but whatever.
There's a lot of podcasts put out by our former company. They put out a lot of them.
I do remember in one episode, she explained how, like, we were on the radio at this point, but I was mad. Now I laugh about it. But she was like, listen, if you're always like, I want to learn a new language, but I don't know, I don't have the time to do it. She's like, people, it only takes X amount of time a day to learn a new language if you're listening to whatever, language app or something. She's like, so instead of wasting your time listening to a radio station that has scripted fake things, maybe you should. And she talked about, like, how many times have you heard your same radio morning show or whatever? And I was like, you are doing this for a radio company.
Well, I would argue that they don't think they're a radio company anymore. No. They think they're a media. Well, they are a media company. They just think they're a bigger media company than they actually are. But I also agree with it 100%. I think when you're listening to a show like Elvis's, for example, or Bobby Bones or The Breakfast Club, they're doing new things every day. Whether it's important stuff or not, that's up to you to decide. But there are shows out there where all they do is go from one scripted thing, then jump to another scripted thing, and then they're like, here's the stupid news. This one guy drove his car into a Baskin Robbins. That's not something you should waste your time on.
Okay. You've also been in the same camera shot as
well. No, I've gone back and forth.
Tish said, I gave my sister my screen time passcode, so I can't ignore it anymore.
Oh, wow.
I love that. I set up, I never really had downtime set up on my iPhone. So you can select, like, always allow these apps no matter how much restriction I put on. So I always have messages, email, like my security system, whatever. I have social media off, anything that I will start scrolling through. And I started setting it to go off turn on, between 10 a.m. and 7 p.m. So I can't use social media during that time. Now, you can hit ignore. My only thing with that is I will not realize I'm doing it. I will click Instagram, hit ignore for 15 minutes. Yeah. And now it's like, well, this whole thing is pointless.
Well, I started at the gym, I started using not do not disturb mode, which I will still turn on, but focus mode. And what I was realizing was, if I had a minute and 30 seconds of rest between an exercise, I would open up Instagram or Twitter or X or whatever. Or I'd scroll on Offer Up, which we'll get to in a second. And then I would go past my 1 minute and 30 seconds and go to 2 minutes and 30 seconds or whatever it is. And it wasn't a big deal, but over the course of an hour and 30-minute workout, you end up adding 20 minutes.
So stupid.
And I realized once I put focus mode there, my workout got more efficient, got better, got condensed, and then the rest of my day was able to move along. So it's those little things. So when you talk about, and we've talked about this now for 20 minutes, when you talk about getting overwhelmed by your to-do list or all the things you've got to get done, there's a different way for everyone to tackle that, but it's really just understanding that at some point you got to do it. Your best time to do it is starting it right now, and then you can you can adjust how you tackle that on a daily basis, but you got to start tackling it.
Well, Fred the Mailman says he leaves his phone in his car when he's at the gym, which that is like what I love about Orange Theory versus going to the regular gym is Jesus, take the wheel.
Yeah.
Like I got we're not allowed to have a phone in there, and someone's just telling me what to do. My brain gets to turn off or actually start working and start being creative and thinking because I'm not focusing on something else.
I have all my workouts built into my phone. I could easily, obviously, write them down or print them out as well, especially with the new program that I'm using or new app that I'm using to track my workouts. But, I guess I can probably do that. And then it's music, too.
Life is a Hike said I had to tell my friends to stop sending me memes on Instagram so I don't get tempted to open the app. I have all notifications off. Yeah. Literally, completely off. Yeah. But
for social media apps, I do. For texting, that's the only thing I have on.
I don't even. It depends.
So your phone rings all day and it's just alarms that you set? That's not notifications?
Oh, yeah. There's not a single thing that happens.
That's why you're overwhelmed. You've just got alarms reminding you to do things all day.
How else am I going to get things done?
You just do them.
No.
What's worse? Having someone, because, this is actually, I think, the type of person we can figure out, and everyone can run this exercise, right? I get more overwhelmed by people telling me to do things or reminders to do things than the actual things themselves.
People, yes. Alarms, no.
Really?
Because an alarm is something I did, which it does annoy me.
But
So I am moving away. I'm moving away.
But if you snooze it and go back to it, now you've told yourself 3 times you have to do that thing and you haven't done it yet. Isn't that more stressful than the thing that's on your list?
But here's the thing. My phone, always with me. My list, where is it? I don't know. And I'm not putting it in my phone because then I have to go into my phone. And then once I go into my phone, you're in there.
You become the mask?
And you're sucked in. Like, truly, if I could take this thing and throw it down the toilet, I would love to. Yeah. I hate it. I absolutely hate it.
You know what's funny is we always talk about how, like, all these social media apps, they have control over everything, right? They have control over oftentimes the way we think. They have control over our politics, our policies, justice, our idea of justice. But you know, the 2 most powerful companies in the world, Google and Apple, because they own our whole lives.
They're with us.
We can't get rid of them.
No.
It doesn't matter if you're an Apple person, great. If you're an Android person, great. If you hate the other company, great. They're just as bad as each other.
And you're using something of the other company, probably.
They're just as bad as each other, and we can't get rid of it. And how many people are there in the world? 8 billion now, something like that.
I lost count.
I've got to believe that at least 7 billion of those people have one of those 2 products. That's a crazy thought. They own us. While you do that, Carla Marie, why don't you go make our shot? I'm going to fix this. Oh, wait, stay there for 1 second, actually. I need you to stay there so I can... All
right, I will move away from the alarm life, but you got to give me time to...
Oh, you do it. I'm just saying, do whatever you want.
No, I need to.
Hold on. Let me finish that.
I used to have that little, that Post-it app on my computer, but...
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
I'm, like, not on my computer all the time. I think I'm going to start... Remember I wanted to do this? Have a little belt that had a notepad and a pen.
You love belts, because weren't you going to make a social media belt?
Which apparently might exist. I brought it up to the Seahawks social media team, and they're like, I think that exists. And I was like, no.
Oh, man. I pushed it a little too far to your side. Can you push it a little towards me?
That camera?
Yeah. I'll do it.
No, I got to get up.
Continue.
I don't always have jeans or pockets, so I would love...
Carpenter pants.
I would love... No, what if I'm wearing a dress?
Oh, true.
I would love, like, a Steve from Blue's Clues notebook and a pen.
That's basically what I have.
Yeah, but you can't put that in your pocket.
No. I did have one that I could put in my pocket, but they're too small and too flimsy. I don't like it. I got it from the Twitch thing I was at.
Yeah, I'm going to start with the Steve.
Okay.
I might even use a crayon.
You should. No, what I was going to say to end this conversation is everything I say about setting a schedule and keeping yourself on track, it's not like I do that. I just know that those are good things to do, and I try to do them, and I fail all the time, and then I try to readjust myself, and then I fail, and I readjust, and I fail.
I think the mini notebook is the way to go.
Try it out.
Okay. All right, I'm going to go get alcohol.
Okay,
I'm going to go buy a mini notebook.
You go do that. Audi Swan said, I looked it up. Those belts are expensive. Social media belts?
Well, mine will be cheaper.
Hey, Pierre.
He got his wiener snipped.
Oh, so he's less of a Pierre. Okay, go. Come on. Good morning. It's crazy having, not coworkers. What do you call them? Office mates. Good morning, Spoon. Good to see you. All right. Man, let me go to the other screen here. I don't know what to do when Carla Marie's not here, but I guess I'll figure it out. Actually, now that she's not here, let's talk about how I completely went against everything I said earlier in terms of trying to keep myself on track and doing things in an orderly fashion. For some reason, I was organizing our old studio that was in the house. I was putting things back to trying to just get it set up again because it's been a little disheveled. So I set up my Switch and I started charging it for the first time in probably a month. And I was like, you know what? Let me go see what's available on the Switch. I was just talking to my brother Michael about that while we were on our drive up to Canada. I was telling him how you can get a bunch of old school games on the Switch if you have the subscription. And I ended up playing for the first time the Pokemon trading card game, like the digital version of it. And I'd never played it before. The game, I think, came out in 99 or something like that. I was like, this is going to be stupid. I just want to see kind of what the mechanics are. Let me figure out what I think of it. I ended up playing that game for, I think, over 2 hours and didn't go to sleep until, I don't know, 1:30. Oh, Carla Marie's back, and she's going to yell at me for that. Hello. Wow, that's a lot of stuff. Is that jam? No, those are cherries. All right, let's go back to the main camera so everyone can see this.
It's a banana split.
Oh, okay. Wait, is this what you had the other day?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I didn't make it the other day. Jordan made it.
So let's see what we got.
So I already pre-mixed the alcohol, which is Absolute. What is this? Seattle. Where are we? Seattle Cocktail Club. Absolute vanilla and something else cool that I will tell you in a moment. And I'm going to put the link. And creme de banana.
Okay.
All right. Jam. Okay. So I mixed the alcohol. Learn from my previous mistakes to hold the bottom of this.
Hold the whole
it's
shaker.
So cold.
Hold the whole shaker. Speaking of shaking, I'm a 2-bottle babe again.
Touch that.
Gotta have some protein before I have some alcohol.
Maybe you should put it on the split can.
I could do that. There we go. I wanted everyone to see all the ingredients first, but I guess they can see them there too. Okay, so what's this part?
This is the alcohol.
Okay, which is vanilla vodka.
And
Creme de banana.
Yep.
Creme. Okay, so then we got some whipped cream. That's cool. Don't put too much whipped cream in mine. Thank you.
Lame.
Well, I just want to be able to actually drink it.
Lame.
Some chocolate.
Whipped cream bikini.
Did she show you her whipped cream bikini? What movie is that from? Everyone in the chat, go. Oh, maybe I needed some more whipped cream because that cherry just sank right down there.
You know what?
I think I'll take the other one with more whipped cream.
Live with your choices.
Varsity Blues is correct.
Really
100 fake points for Run Like a Husky. All right. Cheers to you, Carla Marie. Always eat the cherry first.
Cheers to Seattle Cocktail Club, because this is awesome.
That's good. Cheers to everyone who supported the stream. Cheers to you, and cheers to Seattle Cocktail Club. Ooh, that's good.
Right?
That is very... Just slurp it into a microphone.
I don't have my headphones on, so I can't hear the things I'm doing. Okay.
That was delicious.
If you go to this camera shot, you're going to see all this stuff, right?
Yeah. You can put them, that's fine. I think we're okay. I think people are allowed to see things on the table. I just don't like starting the show like that because it looks like we're messy. But if people build with us and build the mess, it's a little different. Okay, we haven't even touched on anything on this list, which, who knows, maybe that's a good thing. Carla Marie.
Yes.
Rescue Marie.
I don't know if I'm ready for this.
Rescue Rangers. What do you got?
So. You don't even know this.
I don't.
What's today? Thursday. Tuesday, I got invited to an event. It was called the Creator Cruise, and it was a bunch of local Seattle creators were invited on this cruise around the Seattle lakes with this company called Impact. Love them. They're great. It's how I share a lot of referral links and get to make money off products I recommend.
Okay.
I decided to ride my bike to South Lake Union to go on this cruise. And this will be the furthest I've ridden my bike and the fact that I was alone because I don't like know the bike trails and stuff yet.
Okay.
So I'm riding my bike and I get to underneath the Ballard Bridge.
Okay.
Underneath, which could be a little sketch.
Sometimes, yeah.
I'm under the bridge at a red light.
Okay.
And I look down right by my foot. And by the curb, and between the curb and my foot, is a pigeon.
Like just hanging out?
Sitting there. And I'm
Okay.
like, well, that's a weird spot for you. Are you okay?
That's a peculiar pigeon.
So I go to put my foot near it to see if he would fly away. I'm like, dude, you're going to get ran over
So
here.
you kicked him.
No, I just like went in his vicinity. Does not move.
Okay.
And I'm like, I swear to God, this bird looked up at me like, help. And I was like, and then the light turns and I'm like, I got a boat to catch, buddy. So I start riding and I get like across the street and I was like, and I stopped my bike and I literally stood there and I kept like looking back and I see all these cars whizzing by and I'm like,
And he's on the street at this point?
yeah, but like nestled with the curb.
Okay.
So
But on the road?
yeah, on the road.
Okay.
And there's a homeless person standing there with their sign. And I'm like, literally, I must have for a minute sat there on my bike being like, how am I gonna get it? What am I
Okay.
gonna do with this bird? Mind you, I'm also in a dress that is tied up because I'm on my bike. So I turn around and I go back to the pigeon. I'm like, what am I gonna do? And there's a different homeless person's sign on the ground. Piece of cardboard. So I'm like, okay. So I park my bike and get off, pick up the sign, go up to the bird.
You took the homeless person's sign?
It was like trash. It wasn't that guy. I didn't different guy. He's walking up and down. I'm now in my helmet, tied up skirt, in the street, a busy intersection under the bridge. And I take the sign and I like scoop it under the bird and it starts to move its wings. I'm like, you could have flown. And he just stopped. And then I like scoop him with my hand to get him on the thing. So I'm now touching a pigeon in a sign from the street. And I scoop him up and I put him on the sidewalk, like nestled up. There's like a fence there and I put him there and he just sits on the sign. And he's like, thank you, lady.
Oh, so you saved him from the street.
Saved him from the street.
But he's still there.
So I leave him there. I'm like, what am I can't put this pigeon on my bike.
Good enough. You had a bike rack. You
and
had
I
a little
show up-
basket in the back, right?
Yeah. And I show up to this event with a pigeon. Like, what am I going to do?
He could have been your pigeon.
The whole way there, I'm like, do not touch your face. Do not touch anything. And I pull up, I park my bike, and I get there, and I see someone that I know, and I like hug her, and she goes to introduce me to someone, and I'm like, please don't touch my hand. I just saved a pigeon. These are the people that are put on the event too. I'm like,
Yeah.
they're like, you touched the pigeon. I'm like, I touched the pigeon. We're going to be okay, people. Whatever. I get on the boat, wash my hands. I call the local animal rehabilitation center called Paws. And I'm on like the phone listening.
Does
PAWS.
Paws helps pigeons?
All animals.
Oh,
All wild animals.
okay.
So I'm on the hold. I hit the button for webbed birds. And I'm listening and it's like, please keep in
Webbed
mind.
birds?
Webbed-footed birds.
Oh, okay.
And it's like, please keep in mind that if you have found, and it's like certain water bird, it's like, in Washington State, we have found that there are many cases of the avian flu. And I'm like, oh, fuck. I'm about to get every influencer in Seattle the bird flu. Turns out you have to physically bring the animal to Paws. They won't go pick it up.
Okay.
So now I'm on a lake. I can't save this bird. So I'm like, okay, as soon as I leave here, I get in touch with my friend Ellie. I'm like, we're going to go do this together. We're going to get this bird. We're going to put it in a box, and we're going to bring it to Linwood. That's where it is.
Okay.
So I'm riding home. I get back. He's gone.
Yeah, he's probably fine.
No. Someone cleaned up the whole area. There was a big garbage bag there.
Okay.
And the sign that I put Petey the Pigeon on, because I named him, was like wedged into the fence. And I was like,
maybe one of the homeless people there like cleaned up their area.
all I could think was that he was in that garbage bag and I was not about to look at it.
No, he probably wasn't.
But I kept telling myself that someone else rescued him.
Or maybe he was just not feeling great at that time and then he flew away somewhere.
Or she was pregnant.
Whatever it was.
I washed my hands a billion times.
I'm sure. I honestly don't know if I would have done anything because pigeons are, I don't know, they strike me as dirty birds. They strike me as like the rats of the air. and I just feel like they probably have a ton of
But
diseases.
he looked tinier than a normal one. Run Like a Husky said he could have been stunned and eventually flew away, which is very common. I reached out to Pate from Motley Zoo, and I was like, what do I do? And she was like, did you notice if it had a band on its leg? And I was like, there might have been something, but I also just don't know if it was stuff around him. And she said, because it could be someone's pet.
A pet pigeon? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Doesn't Mike Tyson have like a bunch of pigeons? Isn't that his thing?
And then I was like, also, what if this animal rescue closes? Well, am I going to put this pigeon in my yard over the night? It's not going to survive.
I mean, it survives outside all the time. What are you talking about?
It can't fly. We got raccoon central in our backyard.
Yeah. Put him in your bathroom downstairs, like you did with the cat that you found.
That bathroom's going to be our sanctuary. So here's my thing is like, what? I almost didn't ride my bike to this event, so I would have never been there.
Okay.
And I've never I was like, I'll just miss this whole event. I felt compelled to save this animal. I was like, I will never sleep if I know that I just left this bird in the street. Oh, what I didn't tell is there was a person waiting for the bus stop across the street that after I did it was just like this.
Let me ask you a question though, Carla Marie. So you went out of your way to help Petey the pigeon.
Yeah.
Put him on the street, or took him off the street.
Off the street.
Put him on the sidewalk. Did you do anything for the homeless guy that was by there either? Or as well?
Oh, I did think about this. I just saved the animal. But like, listen, Petey couldn't help himself.
I mean, that's true.
But I did see that same guy yesterday, and he was selling art, and I said, we need to buy his art. So I want to go buy and maybe buy his art.
So maybe we go buy the homeless guy's art.
We can hang it right here.
Do we think it's his art? Or do we think he took art from someone else and is selling it?
It was like a stack. He was selling printed things, and I saw the back of it, and it said like he went to FedEx and printed them.
That's pretty entrepreneurial of him.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
But like, I don't know. Animals. I can't wait to have a sanctuary one day.
You're going to have a pigeon sanctuary now?
Well, we will not turn anybody away.
Okay. Next thing on the list, let's see what we got here. So we went through Rescue Marie, bridesmaid dress dilemma. But you know what? I'm gonna break up Carla, because I think that the first three things are all your stuff, Carla Marie, right? All your things? I can read them to you if you'd like.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to jump to the last thing first, or next. No discount women. Now, let me ask you, Carla Marie. As a woman, do you appreciate finding a discount?
Yeah.
Right? It's kind of cool to do.
I almost don't buy anything unless there is a discount.
Okay. Perfect. So I was, as I do sometimes when I'm bored, I was going through OfferUp. And OfferUp is a great place to find either, like a lot of the tech stuff that we use, we've gotten from OfferUp, like the two lights we have here. A lot of the stuff has come from OfferUp. The other thing I use it for is for gaming things, old school games, cheap games, whatever. Even new games. I can find someone selling, the newest Pokemon or the newest Super Mario game on OfferUp. So there's a company and there's an account, and I don't know if it's a real store because it looks like it could be, or just someone's like garage and they set things up really nice. It's like Dream something in Tacoma is where it says, and they have a ton of gaming things, which is why I think it's a store, and they're posting their stuff online. And normally on OfferUp, it literally says it in the name. Someone posts something, and then you can make an offer as well.
Yes,
right.
That's how OfferUp works.
You can bundle things together.
It gives you the option to like literally offer something.
So this one store, Dream, whatever it was called, they had a bunch of things on their account, and I noticed there were two games that I liked, that I was interested in. So I said, "Hey, would you be interested in X amount of dollars for these two games?" So basically I put both of them together and took like $5 off.
It's called a bundle on Poshmark.
It makes total sense. It's very normal.
Like, I'm going to buy these two things. What can you do for me?
It's very normal in the virtual garage sale apps.
And
right?
At an antique store or like a reuse store.
You know what their response was?
No.
I'm sorry. We're a women-owned business. We don't do discounts. Which I thought was the weirdest response I could have gotten. All they had to say though was, "We don't do discounts."
Yeah, but like, you know what? I kind of love it. I love that badassery.
It's not badassery. It was so stupid.
Yeah, because you know what? Society expects discounts from women in every aspect.
But I didn't know they were women when I asked. It was a digital profile. It's so
I don't
stupid.
know why like women who don't know you hate you. It's like you get like beat up virtually by women all the time.
It was the weirdest. Like, all you had to say was, you didn't even have to give me a reason. You could have just said no. Right? A lot of times you make an offer on these apps.
I want to do it from a female account.
And the response is just no. Or no, thank you. Thanks for the offer, but I'm not going to accept that. Whatever way you can say no is fine. For whatever reason, the way they said no was like the stupidest. And sorry, we're a women-owned business. We don't do discounts.
Oh my God.
That's a ridiculous. Am I crazy? That's a ridiculous thing to say.
It is ridiculous. It's hilarious and entertaining to me. But I like different than that, but same thing with trying to buy something from the internet and whatever. There was a guy on Facebook Marketplace selling a shelf that I really wanted for our outdoor area. And he had it for $50. And people talk me down all the time. Yeah. And I negotiate. And I said to him, will you do 40? He sees the message, doesn't respond. I go back the next day. This guy updates his, what is it? Description? Yeah. Item description. 50 is the lowest I will go. Dude, communicate with me then. Yeah. Don't just, because it literally said in our messages, so-and-so updated the description. I was like, oh, what'd he change? I'm like, okay, you're clearly from here because you can't have a conversation with me. Like, you just tell me.
He doesn't like confrontation.
And then I went to Walmart and bought it for cheaper than he was selling it.
And listen, you're allowed to sell whatever you want for as much as you want, right? Like, I'm not saying that guy is a bad person for not wanting to sell it for less than 50. He could have just responded and said no, and then said, as a matter of fact, I should have put that in the description, and then he changes it. Or put it in the description first. Or like that women-owned
Well, I want to see if they would give me a discount as a woman.
They should have said this: no lower offers, not accepting offers, whatever it is. They should have said that, or even the disclaimer: we are a women-owned business and we don't do discounts.
In their description.
Yeah, that should be at the bottom of every one of their items that they list.
Yeah, you got.
What a weird...
I kind of love it, though. It's fun.
The internet's a weird place.
Mandarin Rose said the passive aggressiveness is real in Seattle.
That is true.
It is. And yesterday, I had a interesting conversation with the lovely gentleman from Greenwood Heating and AC who came over to fix my air conditioning, which was just the fact that the outer cage was not drilled in all the way.
You live and you learn.
I had to pay a lot of money for a service appointment to find that out. But he'll be back in 2 weeks to do a maintenance service. Great guy. So at one point he's doing everything, and I'm up there on the roof like with him, talking to him, and he goes, "You're not from here." And I laughed, and I was like, "No." He's like, "Me neither." He goes, "East Coast?" And I was like, "New Jersey." He goes, "I knew it." I was like, how do you know that? He goes, "You talk way more than most people from here." And he's like, and I can tell literally everyone who is from here and not. He's like, I don't understand why people are from here just like shut down and cannot communicate. And I'm like, yeah. I was like, but I kind of like just push them a little bit and I talk to them. Yeah. He's like, I know, but he's like, it's crazy how you can see a difference. And I don't know if he was born in New Jersey, but lived in New Jersey as well.
Oh, okay.
He said Woodbury area.
I mean, I know there's Woodbury Commons.
I know, but
in like the lower part of New York, which we would call upstate in New Jersey.
I forget where, but yeah. So he moved out here 8 years ago, and he's like, I could never go back. And we were like having a whole conversation about East Coast, West Coast, and everything.
You know, we've talked about this before, though, and yes, there are differences in people around the country and the way that people interact with one another, and it's whatever. It's not good or bad. It's just different. Yeah. And one of the things that you can attribute, quote unquote, the Seattle freeze to, or people being more closed off here in Seattle, is where a lot of the early immigrants to this area came from. And a lot of them came from Nordic countries, which have smaller family groups, which aren't necessarily as
boisterous.
Yeah, loud and like, animated? I don't want to say touchy-feely because that sounds creepy, but like
there's no double kissing.
No, it's not a lot of like hugging and double kissing and all of that stuff that you would see in like Italian, Latino, Middle Eastern families, which are oftentimes found in the Northeast.
I am definitely like, people from here either think I'm abrasive or, oh my God, you're so funny because you say things that like no one else would say and they like love it. Or it's like, okay, that was aggressive. Don't say that.
And so Krisha brings up a good point. She said Seattle is now mostly transplants. The city might be, but there's still the groundwork that was built up by the early settlers. And places in America have taken the characteristics of the settling groups that were most prominent there. That's why when you go to the Midwest and it's like very German.
Yeah.
Or European in general.
Or Montreal.
What about Montreal?
Isn't it like very...
I mean, it's French and Lebanese.
And Lebanese, yeah. But like it's where people, it's all very random. Like where else in America is there Italian people other than New Jersey and Philadelphia? Florida, because they left New Jersey.
Chicago.
In Chicago, you're right.
Yeah.
But,
good old Al Capone.
But there's no like Little Italy or Italian area in California.
There might be. I don't know. I don't know enough about California's got enough people where I'm sure they have everything. But it's one of those things where Seattle has taken on the characteristics of a lot of Nordic countries, which you can see in politics and in the way people behave and interact.
Tacoma Swiftie.
And again, it's not good or bad. It's just what it is.
Just what it is, yes. Tacoma Swiftie, who I believe is born and raised here, said, I don't mind communication. I just hate small talk. There's no point in my mind.
I love small talk.
So I do agree with you sometimes because I'm like, please just leave me alone. Why are you talking to me? I do get, but that's just not sometimes you're just not on the same. Of
course, yeah.
Whatever. But I will argue that because the Hope for Humanity I did in the Morning Show podcast last week was that it was proven that talking to up to 6 of your neighbors, even if it's just saying hi and waving, can boost your overall well-being.
Yeah.
So I've been now like trying to be more mindful of being like, hi, even if it's just hi. I mean, I got like our neighbors in our townhouse row. We all text. We're good. So I got 4 right there. But
you text them every morning?
Olivia and I text.
Hey, Nabes.
Olivia and I text.
What's poppin'?
And we got a new guy. And Olivia and I are like trying to get the DL on the new guy.
Okay.
He's like our age. And we're like, do we bring him in?
So here's the interesting thing. Because someone that we actually got to meet when he was here in Seattle, Jared Freed. He's a comedian. Does a lot of Bachelor stuff.
I just watched his special on Netflix.
And that dropped last week. I still haven't watched it yet.
It's so good.
He was just on one of the morning talk shows, Good Morning America, one of those things. And they were asking him about being 37 and single because that's the name of his Netflix special. And he was saying how he's just so over first dates and first date conversations. And I couldn't disagree more. This is going to sound messed up because I am obviously in a relationship. I wish I could go on 100 first dates.
Go ahead.
Because I love meeting people.
We should call it 100 first dates. And if you find someone in there that you think you like better, then you leave.
I don't know if you should be risking it like
Good
that.
luck.
100
They have to like you also.
That's a large sample size. But no, it has nothing to do with not enjoying where I am in life. It just has to do with the fact that I love meeting new people. I love finding their stories. And when people say I hate small talk, my response is usually like, well, what do you want them to talk about if you're strangers? Right?
Yeah. Well,
I'm not going to go to a stranger and be like, what are your thoughts on socialized healthcare?
So here's where I will agree with Jared is that if I were to go on a actual date where I need to find someone that I'm going to like, the whole idea of the first date is I got to go through this to see if it's worth going through all the other things with you. But I like if it's like, hey, I just met this random person. We're going to go get lunch together because no strings attached. Yes, I love that.
So then maybe it's not that you don't like small talk on quote unquote first dates or whatever. Maybe it's the fact that you need to readjust the way you go into a first
Are you talking
date.
To me or people?
People who think like you, right? Because there's oftentimes I'll see it. I used to see it on the apps, all the dating apps, all the time. It's like not trying to waste my time looking for the one.
No,
that's not how it works.
No, yeah,
you don't get to.
You
choose
could just say I'm not here for hookups. Maybe, and that's fine. Maybe that's okay to say.
Yes, saying you're not there for hookups is fine, but saying I'm not here to waste my time. I'm looking for my person. You don't get to choose that. And I think it was actually Fred, the mailman, who posted something. I could be attributing the Instagram story I saw to the wrong person, but it was something along the lines of, if you go into a relationship as early on as possible and think that it's the last one you're going to be in, you're going to start allowing things that you normally wouldn't have if you didn't put that pressure on yourself and on the relationship.
No, I agree with that. Martha said, I don't know how to do the first date thing. I go into every situation thinking everyone knows me and I'm too comfortable with them. Same.
Yeah.
And then when I went out with our neighbor, so first date for me was when our neighbor Olivia and I went out. We talked about this on the show when we last fall went out together. We had been texting and obviously chit-chatted outside, but had been texting for months. And finally we were like, we should hang out. And we clicked, had so much fun. Our second date, she's like, till this day, I laugh about the TMI that I shared or you shared, whatever. And I'm like, yeah. And it's just, we click. Some people you just click with. Yeah. And I have still to this day, met so many people, and it's mainly women. It's not that I'm not open to meeting men, but it's easier, right, to connect with women.
It's easier for me to talk to guys. I mean, we've talked about this before. I've talked to hundreds of guys at gyms. You know how many women I've talked to at a gym? Maybe 3. Yeah. Maybe 3, and it's usually because one of the guys I know at the gym was the conduit. Yeah. Right? He was the connection point.
It's just easier. Yeah. So I the first date idea, even if it's not a first date, I'd love, I think I'm like, oh my God, what are we going to talk about? That nervousness, but then you also that euphoria, that high when you connect with a new person. I love it.
I don't know how I didn't bring this up before. So Cheese Dot, who has been in this stream before, he's a man named Brett. He's got a real name. And he just said hi. Oh, there he is. So Brett and Brett works for the podcast company that we recently signed on to. Gemini 13, great company. And Brett really is the one who, he connects all the dots to make sure everything happens, right? He's an operations guy. He's
the one that has to be like, hey guys, you need to do this.
Yeah. And don't worry, I'm going to record the DraftKings spot today. It's on my list. Where is my message with him?
But you guys went out and hold on. When I was at Taylor Swift, you guys got lunch. Yes. And I was like, it's weird I haven't heard from Anthony. It was 3 hours. There we go.
But here's so it was essentially a first date, right? I only knew this guy through...
You didn't even know what he looked like.
Through emails.
I found him on LinkedIn, so I knew what he looked like.
And no, I actually didn't know what he looked like until I met him. And we had realized that we were both in Seattle, so it was like, hey, if you ever want to hang out, let's grab lunch, blah, blah, blah. And we literally hung out for 3 hours. I know. And I want to say, this was the funniest part because this is where it turned into the moments after the first date, right? So Brett messaged me and said, just wanted to say thanks for getting lunch with me the other week. I'm sorry I kept you 3 hours. I can kind of talk endlessly once I get going. I know you're crazy busy, so thank you. You're awesome. Can't wait to bring Julie around the studio. Julie is his fiance. So for the record, it wasn't an actual first date. But it was, my response was something no, don't even worry about it. I had a great time. And it was literally we were... texting one another after a first date.
I want to do this again.
Yeah. Both of us were sending those text messages. But I love small talk because I think you need small talk to develop the trust to get to that next level, right? If you want real deep conversations, there has to be a level of trust. If you're someone who wants to have real deep conversations with a person you don't know, that's weird.
Yes. But I have met, so I have a friend who was like, oh, this person just moved in next door to me and they just started telling me all of their drama immediately. And they're like, I'm living for this chaos a bit. But at the same time, you don't know me and you're telling me all of this right away. This may not, work. Because those kind of people are fun to have around until they're not.
Yeah, there's usually a reason they're that unhinged. Yeah. It's because they've been that unhinged forever. They're going to continue being unhinged. I always bring it up. There was one of the dates that I went on here in Seattle. The woman she was great. She was very kind, but she was also very, very open and kept using the line, I'm like an open book. And I use this example a lot. I've never opened a book in the middle and thought, this is a great book. Let me read the first chapter. There's a reason. The
back and the front.
There's a reason that the book is written the way it is.
That you either read the front, back, maybe you just like the way the cover looks.
Yeah.
Or they were recommended by a friend.
But again, regardless of how you got to that
Never
book,
the middle.
you start in the beginning. And I think it was Krisha or someone in the chat who had said that they disagree with me slightly. They don't like small talk, but maybe like the right kind of small talk. So my question now to you, Carla Marie, and to the
medium
chat.
talk?
What is acceptable small talk? Right? I'm not saying you walk in and go, oh, the weather outside.
Yeah, that's small talk.
That's not small talk. That's someone who doesn't know how to have a conversation.
I don't know. I don't
Unless
have
it's like, listen, if it's downpouring and you just walked in and you say, wow, it's really raining hard out there. That's normal.
Well, for me, example, small talk when I got to that event the other day was I just saved a pigeon. Everybody on that boat knew about the pigeon.
I would argue that's not small talk. But what is small talk? Right? And this is coming from someone who I will admit, I probably like meeting people and getting to know new people more than the average person.
I think small talk is conversations that aren't meaningful. They're not things that are going to stick with you, right? Like, it is the weather, it's the parking, it's the traffic, it's the garbage people came late today to your neighbor, or do we have to put out the garbage today because it was a holiday? Like, that's almost like, I think of that as small talk.
You know, I think I realized something just now, Carla. Okay. I think it really comes down to how you feel about relationships as a whole. I am someone who believes that not every relationship has to be a meaningful or long-term relationship, and that is for both romantic and friendships. I think sometimes you can just have situational friendships.
Yes.
I think sometimes you can fall in love with a person for a night and never want to talk to them again. That doesn't even mean you sleep with them. It just means you had a great time that night, and for whatever reason, your lives go in different parts and there's in different ways. And there's nothing wrong in my mind with those types of relationships. I don't need, by the end of my life, I can't haul everyone I've ever met along the way. Some people have to.
You would take them all out when you die?
Yeah, of course.
What are you saying?
I'm like a pharaoh. All of my people have to be buried with me, and all of my cats have to be buried with me.
Okay, yeah, but like they do.
But I think that's why I don't know if I even qualify conversations as meaningful. They're just conversations.
Your brother just sent this message to him. Small talk is insubstantial conversations that can be replaceable, either in content or audience, without a notable difference. I think that's a good way to describe it.
But is that how we would define the thing that we apparently a lot of people in the chat don't like?
I think so. But I literally, if not today, because today's Thursday, you have until Monday
to do what? Go on a first date?
Small talk with a stranger.
Oh, I do it all the time.
I'm not talking to you.
Well, you said you.
I looked at the camera.
Okay. You.
Because there was something that happened the other day, and I was like, I want to see if I could start talking to more strangers and see what happens. Like, kind of like disrupt, like especially as we're about to get into gloomy weather season, where people are just like completely shutting down, no one's bubbly. I want to disrupt that a bit. Yeah. And even just like the cashier. I think it was because of the Trader Joe's meme. Have you seen this?
No.
It's like when there needs to be a checkout process for introverts at Trader Joe's.
Yeah.
Because if you've ever checked out, have you checked out?
Yes, I've been. I love how you think that I've never done anything in my life.
I've never seen you in a Trader Joe's.
I've gone to Trader Joe's. I bought hummus there.
They're like, how's your day going? Anything else? What fun things have you done today? What else are your plans? Ooh, and then when I'm buying alcohol, ooh, March, okay, whatever. And I'm like, but
let me ask
if I'm not ready to receive it, it's abrasive. But if I am, I'm like, okay, let's go, buddy.
But let me ask you
in
something,
your Hawaiian shirt.
Trader Joe's, I would argue, out of all the big chain supermarkets, has the best brand image.
Oh, absolutely.
Out of any of them,
no one beats it.
Don't you think there's probably a correlation there?
I do, but there should be a checkout for I'm having a shit day, don't talk to me.
Do you remember on Uber or Lyft, one of the apps?
Don't talk to me, Uber.
I really just wanted to be quiet.
It still exists.
Does it really?
There's people that I hit it and they're still talking to me.
Yep. But let me add on to that.
What's the homework? Homework assignment?
Damn it. Yeah, what is the homework assignment?
Make small talk with. You have two.
2 2s.
Small talk with a neighbor.
Okay.
Which I know is hard because then you got to see them again. And small talk with either a stranger in public at a store or someone like that's like a checkout person or whatever. Something out, someone outside of your home zone and someone inside of your home zone.
Let's see. Angela said, I have small talk every day, but I don't know if it counts because it's kind of my job at the Tribal Museum and gift shop. I would say that's absolutely small talk because you've never been to a store where the person like almost didn't even acknowledge your existence.
Yes, and sometimes I love that. But Angela, but then you're the Trader Joe's employee, and that doesn't count in that situation.
I'm going to write a note so I don't forget. Keep going.
Are you ready to do the homework?
No.
DJ Synth said, what do you do for work is small talk to me. And I agree, but that is like moving on to the next level after that. Because once someone's like, this is what I do, and then you can immediately connect with them. It's like, oh, I used to do that, or this, or I know someone who did that. That's, I think, the jumping off point to the next level.
But that's my whole point is that's why you need small talk. Imagine if someone came to you and was just like, hey, I know we don't know each other, but my husband has ED. What do I do about it? That would be the weirdest thing in the world, but that's a deep conversation that normal friends might have.
Cheese Dot said, my fiance gives me shit for making friends with all of the Trader Joe's cashiers in Bellevue because half of them are early 20s and play video games.
Oh, this was what I wanted to bring up when I forgot it before. When you brought up Trader Joe's and the meme about having like the
extrovert checkout,
introvert checkout.
There
was a meme that I saw.
Should go by.
And I wanted to send it to your niece Gabriella, but I couldn't like find her on Instagram. I don't know if she's. I can't send her messages.
She blocked you, maybe.
That's fine. But there was a meme that said, everyone who shops at Trader Joe's all of a sudden becomes a snack expert. Like they've got a PhD in snacks.
That's so funny. Please send that to her. My nieces.
Well, she has to unblock me.
She actually has her.
I don't think.
Do you follow her?
Maybe not.
Because her Instagram is private because her fiance's a cop and they like kind of, it's unsafe, which is insane.
Okay.
They're like, he's like, you can't be posting like things where you are and have the public be able to find you.
Okay.
Which is wild.
So I can't send her memes.
It will follow her, you dick.
New Jersey NJPD does not allow memes.
What?
Is that official? Are we speaking on behalf of all New Jersey police?
My two nieces are like, I'm the only person in my family except for my little goddaughter who is in high school who like could be in front of a camera or anything ever. But my two nieces will go to Trader Joe's and film videos, not edit them, just film a video of their like haul of everything they got and explain why and what they love it and send it to all of their friends, just like in a text. And so my nieces will send it to me and I'll be watching it like to see what they got. And Anthony's like, what are you watching? I'm like, Gabriella's Trader Joe's haul. And she's like, oh my God, this tapenade, I love it. It's my favorite one at Trader Joe's. And he's like, what is happening?
Yeah, exactly. Snack experts from Trader Joe's. We do have a couple other things on the list to get to. I think we could do this pretty quickly. What is 365?
Okay, well, this should be an After Dark episode.
Is it going to get like
naughty? I won't go into too much detail, but so I started watching and finished the 3-movie series of 365.
So it's
365 days is what I think it starts as. Then it's like something else, and the last one is like the next 365 on Netflix.
Okay.
I only started watching it because I was watching the Kardashians, and they were talking about this hot actor that they want to set up with Khloe, who was on 365 on Netflix. And Kim's like, oh my God, like it's like I'm like, what is this about?
Okay.
So I'm like, let me just see, because this guy's hot. Kind of looks like Anthony a little bit. And I'm watching this, and I'm like, oh, this is a long-form porn. Like,
and it's on
like
Netflix?
An hour long, the first one. And I'm like, this is intense.
And are people actually doing it?
But here's the thing. You have to have subtitles on because everyone has accents. Also, some of it is in Polish. Is it Polish? I don't know. So it's originally a book series. And it was turned into a movie, and it's so bad when it comes to plots. I mean, like, horror.
So it's not good by any means. Okay.
Plot holes.
But it's sexy.
Like, there's most plot holes I've ever seen in my life. My friend Tatum was like, I couldn't finish watching it. I was like, Tatum, I need you to appreciate the smut here. Okay. And my friend Megan was like, the boat scene. I'm like, thank you, Megan. Let's talk about this. So do not watch it with like children. Do not, if you're not uncomfortable with watching that kind of stuff with your significant other, don't watch it. I want to prank my mom and be like, Mom, you should go watch this, and have her put it on and be like, what the hell did you tell me to watch?
You should have both your parents watch it together.
So, but it's like this guy, he's in the Italian mob, and it's so aggressive. Like Twilight aggressive, 50 Shades of Grey aggressive, like borderline, like emotional abuse, but it's so hot.
Okay. So there's a lot of sexy time.
So I need to know if other people have watched it also. But if not, please watch it. Yeah, now my Netflix recommendations are because you watch this, and it's like all these sex things.
His name is Michael Marone?
Michelle Marone.
His name is Michelle Marone.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, he's French or something.
He's Italian.
He's Italian.
He's so hot.
There are Italians named Michelle, men? I thought it was just like a French thing, because there's a lot of Lebanese people, males, with the name Michelle as well.
Like,
one of them owns Cedar's restaurant in New Jersey. You should go check it out.
Hold on.
He's an okay looking guy. He's definitely not ugly.
Dude, you look like him.
But, well, that's probably how I would qualify myself as
It's
well.
called 365.
Okay looking, definitely not ugly.
Hold on. Let me see. 365 Netflix. But I'm warning you, like, it's a lot. Like, I've never seen a movie.
So what else are we talking about? Just the fact
Just that I watched this.
Okay.
And it's something. No, Scotty said Chris Maloney is still the hottest guy ever on TV. No.
I don't know who that is.
That's the guy from SVU.
Still don't know who that is. You think I've watched an actual episode of SVU? Those shows, like, my parents will sit by the TV for hours while they're playing Candy Crush or going through their Facebook feed, and they'll have those shows on. And I understand the draw of those shows because it's the same.
It's like a puzzle. You figure it out on your own.
But it's the same format every single time, right? It's like boom, and then it goes to the crime scene, and then they've got to like reverse engineer it. I get it. And then there's the court scene where they finally figure out the pieces and they do the big reveal, and it's quick. It's all in 30 minutes, something like that, and you're done. And it's always something crazy that's like kind of pulled from headlines.
It's Special Victims Unit, yeah.
But they try to make it look like current things that we've lived. I can never get into those shows.
I can.
They're so cheesy.
Oh, then
the acting is so bad.
But I'm making you watch 365 because I want your opinion as a male.
Or the mailman said, SVU is just Scooby-Doo for grown-ups. It's 100% true. It's 100% true. That is 100% true.
It was you the whole time. Oh, God.
Next thing on the list that we got to talk about before we get out of here, Carla Marie, bridesmaid dress dilemma.
It's kind of a long conversation.
I'm sure it's not. Let's go. Try me. I'll end it real quick. I don't even know what I'm saying, but go. We got nothing but time.
So, there was a meme that I saw the other day that, like, this is something that I do, and I was like, okay, I'm not the only one. And the meme was a girl, it was a text conversation, a screenshot. She says to her boyfriend, what are your sister's wedding colors? I don't want to wear the same thing. And he responded with, I don't know, her dress is whitish. And she's like, you're an idiot.
Okay.
That's not what I was asking.
Okay.
And I was like, so I posted it as, this is funny, but am I the only one who does this? And I was not, like, blown away. It was like 99% of women are like, yes, I do this.
Do what? Ask what the...
I always ask ahead of time.
Okay.
What are your wedding colors? Because especially in today's world, because a lot of bridesmaids' dresses aren't the obnoxious, poofy thing, ugly thing they used to be. It's standard dress that you would wear to any event. It's like, I want to know your color so that I don't show up matching, especially if it's like my friend Lindsay got married. If I would have shown up in the bridesmaid color dress, it would have been look like I was like, oh, I should have been in the bridal party. So even Lindsay, what I love that she did is on her wedding website, put our bridal colors are, the bridesmaids will be wearing champagne and the groomsmen will be wearing black tuxes.
Okay.
Or whatever it was. So that.
But it was also a black tie wedding. So black tuxes, like guys are just going to wear the same thing anyway.
There was someone in jeans, so it's fine.
Yeah.
But.
Well, that was part of, I will say this was Lindsay, it might have been her fault because on the invitation it says black tie optional.
Okay, but if it's that far along, you don't go down here.
Yeah, but then don't make it an option.
Well, okay. Anyway,
the word optional gets real weird.
That's not the conversation. But the amount of people that were like, this is my nightmare. This is my nightmare.
What is their nightmare?
To end up match. And people were like, it happened to me. It was so embarrassing. I do this all the time. And then when we were at your family reunion, I was talking to Rihanna, your brother's fiance, and we had the same conversation, the group of girls. And I think she either said she's going to a wedding and she has a green dress and the bridesmaids are wearing green and whatever. I was like, Rihanna, you can't do that. She's like, why not? I wouldn't care.
Oh, so she didn't know this fake rule.
No, she doesn't. It's not a rule. She's like, I don't care. I'm like, you can't do that. And she's like, I wouldn't care if you came to our wedding wearing the same thing as bridesmaids. I was like, I would.
Okay, so this is a you
especially
thing.
because it would look. It's not a me thing. It's 99% of people.
But do brides normally care?
A lot. Yes.
If they care that much, then why don't they just all put it on?
They some are, but it's also more of like, I don't want it to look, especially for your brother's wedding, right?
Yeah.
If I show up in the same color dress or maybe even the same dress, which is very possible, that would be the worst thing of my life. It'd be like, oh,
that's a pretty good life.
Murray?
That's a pretty good life, I would say.
Shut up.
If that's the case. A few of my cousins requested that we were in similar colors so that the whole wedding will be aesthetically the same.
Yes, that is a thing. Lindsay did that for the welcome party. All the girls were told to wear blue. Ask her something blue.
Every girl. Mm-hmm. Every single woman that was there.
I think so.
Was supposed to wear blue. I didn't even notice. And this is, I guess this goes to a larger point, is most people don't notice anything.
Okay, so Pamela said, oh my God, so funny. My sister turned down an offer to be a bridesmaid to her cousin-in-law, then accidentally showed up in the exact same color dress as her whole bridal party and was mortified.
But who's really reading into that other than the person themselves? Or like, I don't think people in the wedding, wedding guests are looking and going like, oh, did you see Tiffany? She wore the same color. She's so mad that she's not in the bridal party.
The other women are.
Well, then maybe these women need to find hobbies. Play a video game. I don't know what to tell you.
Sawyer said, if it's requested or the colors are made known, then yes, it's tacky to show up in the same color.
Yes, if it's
but
requested.
I don't think there's an exception for you to ask. Oh, I ask, but I always ask.
But I will agree. I agree with that 100% with Sawyer's comment. If it is requested or, stated that this is the color and we hope and, avoid wearing it.
Right.
Then absolutely, because the request was made and it's the bride and groom's day and they're allowed to make those requests.
I got to text our friend Kara to find out what her colors are.
But I think if no mention has been made regarding the color of the dresses or the dress code, then it doesn't matter. I don't know. Let's see. Fred the Mailman said, I wear the same outfit to every wedding and simply switch the tie. Yeah, that is the benefit of being a guy really you end up with 3 suits normally.
I asked our friend Kara and our friend Tommy.
Okay. What color is Tommy's dress?
I asked the exact same question to both of them. What color are your bridesmaids wearing? So
okay,
we'll see.
Everyone kept asking if she was in the bridal party. Okay, I got to find the first part of Pamela's message. Oh boy, I don't know if I can scroll that much.
It's crazy because now, like, a lot of brides are like, hey, just order this dress from Anthropologie or whatever. And it's like, when you're going to dresses now, I'd say the trend is longer dresses or mid-length dresses in general. So bridesmaids dresses are also there. And people are not making their bridesmaids wear these obnoxious things that they wore in the 90s. It's like, I want you
What were people wearing in the 90s?
Like, they would have those poof shoulders.
Yeah, but that was the style in the 90s for all dresses.
But you were never going to wear that to another wedding.
My mom wore shoulder pads like she was a linebacker.
No. That's, yes, but not this.
Okay.
Like, you would never be able to wear this dress ever anywhere else. Now brides are like, I want you to be able to wear this dress. You're spending this money. Okay.
Got it. So,
like,
a multi-use dress as opposed to a one-time dress.
Thought this was my mom's wedding.
Oh, wow. Yeah, those are pretty ugly.
Literally, that's
not the people. For the record, I'm talking about the dresses.
So you weren't, even if that was the style in the 90s, you weren't wearing that as a wedding guest. So now it's very just like, I want you to match. Or the other issue you run into with bridesmaids is now it's, our color is green. Just get any dark green dress. I don't care where you get it from.
Okay. But that happens also with groomsmen. So like I've been in 2 weddings where they just said one wedding was just gray or charcoal, not black, basically. And the other one was blue. Now the only problem was everyone else is wearing more of a royal blue or a navy blue, and I wore more of a royal blue. But hey, that's what happens when you say just blue. So when you're doing this with bridesmaids, is it like, hey, instead of getting a green dress, is it like Pantone color?
Kind of. It's like dark green. Yeah.
Hex color 00, whatever.
My niece for her wedding sent us like, okay, this these are like the 6 styles to choose from. Everything is just pick steel gray, whatever one you want. And you order it online. It got shipped. Mine was too big, so I sent it back. I'm waiting for a new one. But it's like, the whole going in person thing doesn't really happen as much anymore. Mm. It used to be like my sister showed up to the bridesmaid place with 15 of us and said, we're going to figure out our wedding colors while we're here. I was like, ma'am, what? And it was a shit show.
Oh, so the color wasn't even decided.
The color wasn't decided. So you have 15 women trying on dresses. I like this one, but I like this one. I don't like this color on me. I like this style on me. I was like, never.
Well, and that's something you shouldn't give that decision to that many people, because to their defense, to the people's defense who are given the decision, everyone looks a little different and feels a little different in certain colors. Like, I love like an olive green color. If for whatever reason I was wearing a dress, I don't know if I would wear an olive green suit, but like 2 colors that I know look good on me, green and lavender, done. But if you were like, hey, wear this yellow suit, I don't know if that or dress, I don't know if that would look good on me. So if you gave me the option, this would become a disaster.
I agree. So we don't do that. We got to end the show. I have to pee, and Amy has to leave, and I need to talk to her before she leaves.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess that's that. Thank you for hanging out with us. We will be back on Monday. It was good to be back in this studio. Thank you to everyone who supported the stream. And don't forget, there is a new episode of the Morning Show podcast that is available anywhere you get your shows. And you would make Cheese Dot's life a lot easier if you listened to the podcast, because he works for the company that sells our podcast. So the numbers go up and everyone makes more money.
Thank you to Kara, who sent me the exact photo of her bridesmaids' dresses.
They're all wearing the same thing?
Same color. It's like a sea foam green.
Maybe that's not public information.
Oh.
Shh. All right. We will be back on Monday. Enjoy your weekend. Carla Moran, any last words?
Do your homework, bitches.
The end screen is on. They can't see you pointing.
Do your homework, bitches. I'm pointing at you.
What was the homework?
Talk to strangers.
Exactly. Safely. Enjoy your weekend.